check out these loaves of 1 hour sandwich bread. This sandwich bread took 56 minutes from start to finish with very, very little hands-on time. Bread making doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to take forever. So let me show you how to make this sandwich bread. Hey y'all, welcome to Robyn on the Farm. Today I'm making 1 hour sandwich bread. This 1 hour sandwich bread is homemade, it's made from scratch, it's perfect for sandwiches, and it's ready in just 1 hour. It is so good. So let me just show you how to make it. Let's just get started. To start with, I'm gonna use my Bosch mixer. You can use any stand mixer, you can hand knead this, however you wanna do it. But you're gonna want 2 cups of hot water, about 105 to 110 degrees. Just pour that right into your mixer. Next, we want a 1/4 cup of sugar. Okay, so you can use honey if you want, any kind of sweetener, but I'm gonna use a 1/4 cup of white sugar. Just throw that right on in. And next we want some yeast. I'm gonna use 1½ tablespoons of this yeast. This is my active dry yeast. Some 1 hour bread recipes will say you have to use instant yeast, but you don't. You can use this active dry yeast just fine. But you can use instant yeast, rapid rise yeast, any of that. So 1½ tablespoons of yeast. Okay, next I want 2 tablespoons of melted butter. You can also use 2 tablespoons of any kind of oil you want, shortening, any kind of fat. So 2 tablespoons, I'm using melted butter. All right, next we want our flour. So I'm gonna use bread flour. You can use all-purpose flour, but I recommend the bread flour the most. Just makes your bread that much better. But if you don't have it, all-purpose flour will work just fine. But if you have bread flour, go ahead and use it in this. Okay, so 5 to 5½ cups. As it's kneading, you'll be able to tell if you need to add a little bit more flour. But start with 5 cups and I'll show it to you what it should look like so that you know if you need to add any more. So 5 cups of flour. Okay, I think this is 5. Hopefully I didn't miscount. Okay, and our last ingredient is salt. So you just want 1½ teaspoons of salt. Just throw that right on in there. See, bread making can be fast, not time consuming, and super simple. This recipe does both of those things. So it's fast, simple, not time consuming. All right, now I'm just gonna put the top on and I'm gonna get this started. I'm gonna let this knead for about 5 minutes. You can go longer if you want, but 5-6 minutes is pretty perfect for this recipe. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it started. I'm gonna put it on speed 2 and I'll show you what it should look like. All right, so you see how mine is sticking to the sides real good right there, right in the middle? So I'm gonna add a little bit more flour. I'm gonna add about 1/4 cup of flour, see how that does. Okay, you can see my dough, it's not sticking to the sides or the bottom. It's looking good. This is what you want your dough to look like. If it's sticking real bad, then add maybe a 1/4 cup more of flour until it looks like this. Okay, my dough has been kneading for exactly 5 minutes. Now I'm just gonna get it out and check it out. Let's see. Okay, there it is. Oh yes, so I can handle it. It's not too sticky. It's tacky, but not sticky. So this is exactly what I want it to be like. It feels really smooth and good and I can stretch it. This is what you want it to be like. Okay, so that only took 5 minutes. You can let it go a little bit longer if you want to, but I am going to spray a bowl. I'm gonna throw my dough into the bowl and then cover it with this tea towel that I put some hot water on. And I'm gonna let this sit here on the counter for exactly 20 minutes. While it's sitting here, I'm gonna go ahead and get my oven preheated to 350 degrees. And then it'll be time to shape it into loaves. This recipe makes 2 loaves. So I'm gonna let this sit here for 20 minutes and then I will show you the next step. Okay, it has been exactly 20 minutes. Time to check out our dough. Yes, it looks great. Look how good it rose in just 20 minutes. Isn't that awesome? Okay, so now I'm gonna just punch down my dough. Just punch it down, literally. It's kind of the fun part. Okay, now I'm gonna turn it out onto my counter. Make sure your counter is nice and clean. All right, I'm just gonna kind of press it out. Okay, I like to use my little dough cutting tool and just divide it in half as best you can. All right, now I'm just gonna shape these into loaves. So like I said, this recipe makes 2 loaves. So just press it out, press it out. I like to fold mine down and then fold in the sides, squish it out with the palms of my hand, and then just keep rolling it into a loaf. If you make it nice and tight, you'll get really good texture, really good crumb for your bread. Give it a good smack, let it relax, and then I have my cast iron bread pans that I love. I oiled them up really good, so if you use cast iron, make sure you oil it up really good, or any kind of bread pans that you're gonna use. Now, just take your bread and throw it in your loaf pan. Okay, and I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. Now yesterday I made this recipe. I've been making this recipe for years, but I haven't made it in a while. But yesterday, since we're getting so many tomatoes out of our garden, my plan was to have chicken and tomato sandwiches for lunch and BLTs for dinner, just to help use up some of those tomatoes. Well, all of a sudden it was 11 o'clock and I hadn't gotten any bread made in the morning. So I thought, oh gosh, we really need to have sandwiches. I better get this 1 hour bread made. So I made this bread for the first time in a while, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know why I don't make this bread all the time, because I love it. It is so good, it's so fast, it's so simple. Here are my 2 loaves. Now normally I would say, let these sit on your counter, let them rise for about 45 minutes, but no, for this recipe, I'm gonna put them straight into the oven just like this. No rise time required. This is why it's a 1 hour bread recipe. So you will see they are gonna rise just fine. Now, they're not gonna be super huge like some of my loaves are, but they're gonna be fluffy and soft and perfect. So I'm gonna throw these into my oven. It's preheated to 350 degrees. I'm gonna let these bake for 28 minutes. That's how I like it. The recipe says 25 to 30 minutes, but just watch it and see when it's nice and brown how you like it. To me, 28 minutes is perfect, so I'm gonna let these bake for 28 minutes and then I will let you see them. Okay, I just got our loaves out of the oven. Look how gorgeous they are. Don't those look so pretty? So if you were worried about them not rising in the oven, they did. They rose really well. No problem with that. You don't have to do that second rise at all. So now some of my other bread recipes, the loaves do get like even bigger and fluffier, but these are still great for sandwiches. So for the amount of time that you save, I really like this recipe. And like I said yesterday, I needed some sandwich bread fast, and this recipe fit the bill. So now I am just gonna turn these out of my cast iron loaf pans. Let's just turn them out, let's see. Oh yes, came out nicely. Like I said, I always oil up my cast iron really good and the loaves just slide right on out. Okay. Oh, they are so soft and so nice. Oh yes, these are great. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is take some butter, and I am just going to kind of rub this all over the crust, because this just gives it a really nice soft crust. And who doesn't like the butter taste? I love my crust to have that good buttery taste. So, and the shine is beautiful too. All right, so this recipe for 1 hour bread, it took exactly 56 minutes from start to finish. So that's pretty incredible. 2 loaves of really yummy sandwich bread, nice, soft, and fluffy in under an hour, 56 minutes. So I highly recommend making this bread, especially if you're short on time or you just don't want to take a really long time to make bread. Okay, so normally what I would do is take my loaves, cover them like this, let them cool, and then slice them. That's what you should do. You'll get the best texture crumb, best for slicing that way. But I never do that. I have a family that can smell the bread cooking, and they always want a nice slice of hot bread with some jam or honey and butter. Oh, that's the best. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm just gonna cut into it and let you see it. Let you see that it really is good bread that's really good for sandwiches. Oh yes. So I let mine cook for 28 minutes, like I said I would. I just like this color, I like the softness. I think it's perfect like this. So look at this. It's hot, it's steaming, but can you see how fluffy it is? It's nice, soft, fluffy sandwich bread. That's what it is in under an hour. That's pretty incredible. So let me just tear into it so you can see. Look at that. This is amazing. Really good for peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Like I said yesterday, I used this for BLTs and chicken and tomato sandwiches, and it was amazing. So I love this recipe. Like I said, I haven't made it in a while, but I'm gonna put this back on normal rotation because it was so fast, so easy, so good. You just don't really get better bread than this. And it's 100 times better than anything you can buy at the store. So try out this recipe. Let me know if you like it. Thank you so much for being here with me on Robyn on the Farm, and I will see you next time. It's very good. I just wanted you to see it up close. You can see how good this little slice of bread is. Isn't that perfect? This is perfect for sandwiches. So nice. And just for breaking off a piece and eating it because it's so good. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. I would love to read your messages and respond. Please let me know if you make this bread and what you think of it. Thanks again for being here. I'll see you next time on Robyn on the Farm.